Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication.
Hey y'all, welcome again, once again, we hope, to another fine episode of Mercytv. As you may well know, your source for news and information on the cannabis issue with a focus on medical as it unfolds here in Oregon, across America, and around the world. Greetings, my name is Perry, and along with PK and Reed, we'll be hosting this segment of Mercytv. Welcome. Call your friends, call your neighbors, gather around the TV. Get ready for more news and information.
Hey, but don't be afraid to give us a call.
Absolutely.
And you people in the hospital, please talk to your doctors about cannabis. Talk to your children about cannabis. It is a miracle what it can cure and help you relieve your pain.
Also, nurses and other healthcare providers, be sure to contact us and find out as many specifics you may want to know about your rights and responsibilities as a healthcare provider. And know, first off, I guess, that you can carry the medicine. If a patient is storing it in your facility, you can carry it to them. You can let them medicate. You can carry it back to their storage, things of that nature.
And another thing, felons can vote in Oregon. So make sure you're registered and know the facts. Talk to your friends about what's happening in your community. And make the right choice.
And you can get your voter registration pamphlet from DMV. All you got to do is call them, and they will mail it to your home address.
Right, along with the Secretary of State, number of offices where they have the voter's registration. Get a stack of them. Register your friends and family, neighbors, co-workers, all your enemies too. What the heck? Cover them all. But a lot of things are happening. We do want to let folks know about the Million Marijuana Marches, or global marijuana marches.
That's coming up in May.
Right, the first Saturday in May. And it is happening Saturday on that day in May, which I believe is the 6th. And we'll be gathering 11 a.m. at the corner or intersection, if you will, of Summer and Center Streets. So 11 a.m., Summer and Center Streets. And then we do our thing at high noon. So.
That's the north end of the Capitol Mall. So Summer Street is coming southbound, and Center Street is heading east.
It's right there by the Saturday market that's happening at that time.
That's north of us.
So come on down, check it out, bring your banners and signs and all, and spread the word.
And check out, here's the Cannabis Connection. It has a lot of different articles and recipes to make your own edibles. And you can get the back issues online on their website.
Right on, yeah. Digital copies with more, as PK was saying, the recipes, grow tips, all kinds of news and information that's not just timely, not just pertinent now, although plenty of stuff about legislation and businesses that are starting up, and but not just, as you say, in recipes, but ways to make oils and canna butter and the things that goes into the recipe, as it were.
And they have gardening tips as well. And I hope you will start watching my garden that's aired on Channel 23. It's starting up. I'm showing how to make clones, and now we're going to take those clones and make babies.
Good deal. And that's relevant, I think, for folks that are trying to gear up for outdoor season, which will start in May, is it? Or
Well, it all depends on how your situation is.
April, is it?
April.
For those that are outdoorsy here, yeah. But some
Greenhouse.
folks are kind of half and half. They have their babies indoors and then put them outside, as it were. Also, on the ways to prepare and apply your medicine to medicate, we're talking about the oils and using in recipes for baking and such. But there's also the topical applications.
Yes.
And with oils, balms, such as you prepare, isn't it?
Yes, I produce a cannabis root balm for topical application. It has wide spectrum cannabinoids. Doesn't have CBD, doesn't have THC, but it has many of the other 481 cannabinoids that are contained in both the hemp and the marijuana plants. I don't know what to call it besides marijuana.
Well, right.
I mean, you say cannabis and hemp, you're double speaking.
Right.
What do we say instead of marijuana, other than just cannabis? How do we distinguish between the two?
I think cannabis works. It's certainly a lot better than the pejorative term that the state came up with, But
Right.
it's going to be a long, hard education about getting folks, around that, and that's what we're here for at Mercy TV. I think the important things about the cannabis balm is the way that you produce it. I think also in the way that you're willing to network on that resource.
Yes, I'm looking to gather roots from the hemp plant itself so that I can have both a cannabis and a cannabis hemp separate products, and as well as a combined product. I haven't been able to accomplish it yet, but I hope to use, instead of the olive oil that I have been using, I hope to use hemp seed oil, which does contain CBD.
Right.
So that I can get a wide a spectrum as possible.
Be interesting. Well, very good. Good luck with that. And if folks want to help with the project by contributing your roots and other cast-off byproducts, give Reed a contact and let him know that you've got some available. So
I recycle your used roots.
you can probably pick up some balm in
Yes,
exchange.
I can make trades.
So check it out. Spread the word.
The Cannabis Connection is also available at the Green Depot Recreational and Medical Dispensary. I was there this afternoon, and the employees treated me very, very well. They said they may be able to watch this evening, so they may be seeing this.
Well,
They treated me very well, very knowledgeably,
Uh-huh.
and conscientiously. And that was the Green Depot Recreational and Medical Dispensary on State Street.
Okay, well, I hope you're watching there, and do tell your friends and neighbors about Mercy TV so they can watch and gain the benefit of letting know about other such resources there.
And please give us a call and tell us your experience, how cannabis has helped you or have not.
Or any questions.
Yeah, and let folks know about resources. Certainly, if you're a grower that can take on a patient, let us know. We're the patient community is really hurting for growers these days, and a number of other ways the patient community, is hurting. So, if you're somebody who has a resource like the Green Depot or needs a resource, give us a call here at the show, 503-688. Go ahead.
886444.
Right on. Thank you. I got to get those long-term glasses there for the range. And also, of course, visit us on the website and let us know that way.
Well,
Or come on down, too,
The government, the state government is treating the patients incorrectly. They're making these ridiculous fees to have a grower. It puts restrictions on growers. It makes everybody scared about it.
Right.
We need to change the law back to the original OMA, where patients are helping patients.
They're getting greedy.
Yep.
Well, that's not just the greed. You know, if they wanted to get as much money, then they wouldn't be jacking it up so high so fast. They actually want to drive people out of the program. The prohibitionists would love to kill the medical marijuana program here in Oregon. It's been a thorn in their side since its inception. And the main thing is because it's been so effective in patients being able to use cannabis for their medical needs, not only for the recognized conditions within the program, but things that you're using it for that aren't within their current protocol. And a lot of folks don't know this, but when the Oregon program originally started, there was a place on the form that the doctors filled out to write the other conditions that the patient was using it for, and they were supposed to gather these up and consider adding these to the list. You know, but that went away like so many other things that were patient-centric and oriented about the program, you know, and now it is, as you say, all about making money. And
Well, I'm very interested in what the financial aspect is, how much money has been saved from the Medicaid program by cannabis use in the state of Oregon.
Yeah,
I would expect that it's rather substantial because we're paying for our own or we're getting growers, either one, instead of using state-paid drugs.
That's right. Case after case after case at the Mercy Center, we hear about people going from a dozen different medications to like 3, having to take them several times a day to once, and subsequent improvements in quality of life is just no other way to put it, you know.
I gave up 90 Vicodin a month to get my medical card. I feel better, folks.
You know.
And think how much money that saved.
And I'm so surprised that you know, they were talking $1,000 or more a month down to $100. You know, certainly somebody must see that number. The insurance company who was paying it, I would think, at the least. You know, I know that the opioid industry, the opioid salesman, has been noticing that patients who consume cannabis are able to reduce their opioid dependency. Mm-hmm. Something that was noticed and put out this big surge in this pain management contracts where they were able to cut you off entirely from your pain medication for the least bit of marijuana. You know, when, you know, time after time, there's no detrimental thing other than less opioid use. And I can't see that as bad for anybody but the manufacturer and the salesman.
Well, now, we were also talking earlier about alcohol.
Right.
And cannabis and the alcohol companies, both the beer and the hard liquor.
Oh, yeah. They've been fierce proponents of cannabis in any form, medical or otherwise.
And you were saying that there was a study done in Australia?
Yeah, about 20 years ago, there was a study done where after they'd done decriminalization and had it actually for a number of years, and they found that there was a reduction in alcohol use by double digits, 11% noticeable. And somebody thought, well, you know, I wonder if there's a reduction in, you know, alcohol-related things. And sure enough, deaths, shootings, wife beatings, a whole plethora of behaviors and incidents went down with, you know, the health, you know, more people not dying, as it were, especially prematurely.
To show locally this is substantiation of the alcohol to cannabis, Aspen, Colorado just reported they had more profits from cannabis than alcohol for 2017.
Right. Well, look at, again, like Australia did, at all the alcohol-related things, you know, and so the basic consumer's got his $5-10 and he's looking at going to get a 6-pack or a pack of marijuana smalls, there, cannabis bliffs, and reaping the benefits therein. That's just all the way down the line, as they found in that study in Australia, and it's. I remember distinctly because there's like the last line of the article, after it got done talking about all these things, the Australian scientists said, "Gee, I wonder if the Americans know about this." And oh yeah, the cigarette industry, long. Oh no, you can't have this thing, and all the while in the background having these plans and programs to take advantage of the cannabis once it's legalized.
Well, there's rumors right now that there are several tobacco companies that are buying up land.
Yep, and retooling their machinery to roll the joints instead of the tobacco and all that, and marketing campaigns and the whole 9 yards. So
the federal government at several universities have different cannabis oils and extracts that they have the patent on. And they still say that there's no medical value in the cannabis plant or the hemp plant. The industry would be devastated if we were using the hemp and the cannabis as medicine and resources.
That's right.
So in other words, we're affecting the drug companies, we're affecting the tobacco companies, and we're affecting the alcohol companies. Who else?
The oil companies.
The oil companies, right.
Yeah.
Because hemp has so many byproducts that are available to it, from biofuels to housing to textiles.
Construction,
thousands
fuel,
of
the oils for machinery, the oil, the health oils, food, animal foods, and this hemp seeds and such. All kinds of products there. The only limit is our imagination and prohibition, really, holding it all back. So
you don't have to smoke it.
There's some that have estimated that the hemp plant has over 25,000 uses, but that was in the 40s. There's been a re-estimate that said over 70,000 in today's properties, because we produce all kinds of textiles and plastics of many kinds, all that can be done from hemp seed oil.
Right.
And when it burns, the hemp seed plastic, unlike oil plastic, petrochemical plastics, when that burns, that produces CO2 and carbon monoxide. When the plastic from the hemp plant is burned, it produces only CO2, no carbon monoxide, zero. So it's less toxic smoke if it actually catches fire. And all of the products that made from the hemp plant can be made to be recyclable, unlike petrochemicals.
Same with the hemp fuel.
Yes.
Yeah. And so we should have that as a option for the Oregon farmers, and more of an option, I suppose, that's starting to be, although we're seeing folks thinking of their hemp crop more in the terms of medical use. I suppose they can strip off the flower and then put the fiber to the other way. But
well, it's basically it's two different plants that you produce the cannabinoid oils from, the seeds from.
Right.
And the hemp plant that you produce the building materials and textile materials from is a very much closer growing plant and very much slimmer, taller stalk.
Right, less vegetative.
Two different varieties, basically.
A lot more stalk, less leaf and flower.
So the flower production, the oil and seed production is one variety of the plant,
versus
and the textiles and building materials from a different variety.
Versus the very leafy, very seedless, very much more concerned with resins and some other aspects. It's where you're getting to your
terpenes.
Right, yeah. Your very select strains. I heard somebody talking the other day about a strain that sounded very much like the Vecchio strain from Israel, purported to be very, very, very low on THC and very, very, very high in CBD. and probably others, CBN, CBGs. The Israelis have had decades to work on it.
They started in 1963 with federal government money.
And still
US
getting
federal government
money today, while they prohibit it in the U.S.
Yes. For over 50 years, they've been paying a head researcher in Israel $100,000 a year to research cannabis, all because one senator, unnamed, had his son caught. He caught his son smoking marijuana and couldn't find any information on the actual effects of it. All he could find was reefer madness. He couldn't find any actual research.
Okay.
So
not here in the U.S. anyway.
So
not through the government.
It ended up with research being done for this senator in Israel to the tune of $100,000 a month for the last 50 years.
Wow.
1963.
So, unless we all want to fly over to Israel and try to get the medical cannabis there, we ought to get the same standard of medical cannabis here in the U.S. of A. And the only way to get that is to register, vote, and get everyone you know to do so also. And to vote smart. And to do so, know what your rep thinks about medical cannabis. And PK, how do they do that?
Well, there's a website, government.org, where you can find out different things. You can find your representative. You can make phone calls to their representative or go down personally and make time to speak eye to eye and see how they are.
We have a caller.
Thank you.
Excellent. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, do you guys know about some marches?
About which?
Marches.
Some marches?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's the Global Marijuana March. It's happening first Saturday in May in Salem, Oregon, and hundreds of cities around the world. The one in Salem will be gathering at 11 a.m. at the intersection of Summer and Center Streets on Saturday. That's, I believe it's May 6th, the first Saturday in May. And go from there.
All right.
That's the north end of the Capitol Mall. South of the Farmers Market.
Right, and you know, we'll keep folks posted. There's usually something happening on 420. We sometimes get enough folks interested, organize something on the Capitol steps on 420, at least gather. And in braver days, we would smoke out, but maybe we can have a medicating sign of protest this time.
Oh, so bring your cookies?
Yeah. We'll let you know. Stay tuned by visiting mercycenters.org.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, buddy, and have a good life.
Hey, well, thanks for calling in. Remember, tell your friends, tell your neighbors.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Have a good evening.
Register.
Yeah, that's another thing. Folks can show up there and get their voter registrations as well as your cannabis connection. Yeah, as we were talking about the OxyContin, the opioid crises there.
I got this off the internet. It says the FDA approves OxyContin for children as young as 11 and no one cares. Mention anything about medical marijuana and everyone loses their mind. That's unfortunately too true.
Right. And sad because that's exactly what is saved by medical marijuana. In many cases, children. Children with epilepsy, children with tumors. So many cases that made famous the Charlotte's Web strain of medical cannabis.
Well, I myself, as an adult, had seizures until I started using cannabinoids. I no longer have seizures. I had seizures, according to EEG, every single minute of every day.
Wow. Yeah.
I was having seizures that often. I have none now. All of a sudden, I stopped taking the pharmaceutical medication, started using cannabinoids. I no longer have seizures of any kind.
There you go, folks. Just yet another testimony about medical cannabis and how it works for Wow, number of conditions.
You don't have to smoke the cannabis. You can make edibles, you can make oils. I have 2 different types of healing oil. One's heavy in the THC because I added alcohol to the mixture, and the alcohol changed the composition. Before it had a very low THC. The other is a CBD, and we got 2 more plants to add to it once they grow up this season.
And important thing to note about the topical application, folks should be aware that when you're applying it topically, even with very high potency cannabis, you're experiencing a very low risk of testing positive for cannabis.
Some physicians have actually described it as virtually zero.
So
and that's testing physicians.
Right. So and that's something we used to educate folks that worked for the state, who used to come into our office when we had the brick and mortar there, and now online, contact us, and also by phone, our hotline for helping people out. Also, another good place for people getting information for help on cannabis, Parents for Pot. So visit parentsforpot.org, or again, our website, mercycenters.org, where we have that link and a number of other important resources for folks there.
And you people in the health facilities, we can help you. No, you just have to get in touch.
Give us a call, send us an email. If you can, send one of your representatives down here to the show. Come on down, be in our studio audience, and anonymously put out your question or comment.
Join us.
Right on.
We
And
need the support.
thanks for all our viewers here and callers helping out with the show. Special thanks to our crew and for CCTV for letting us put this thing out. Visit us on the web, mercycenters.org, and click on our Mercy TV link to see our collection of stuff stored on YouTube. We'll have it organized by page, or just give you the link to our Tube library there. Thanks for stopping by. Spread the word.
Take care, my friends.
We'll see you next time on Mercy TV.
You want to say anything before I turn it off, Glenn?
Yes, good night.
Good night. God bless you all, every single one of you.